on the Joe Rogan podcast, which amassed 1.5 million views. The knowledge I shared on these talks changed thousands of lives. Each day I received DM after DM from people saying they went from struggling with chronic illness to thriving and living the life of your dreams. Isn't that not right? Each day I received DM after DM from people saying they went from struggling with chronic illness to thriving and living the life of your dreams. Shouldn't it be their dreams?
Yes, certainly.
So she's this stupid. This is Dr. Peterson's daughter. And literally she's writing sentences like donkey lips. Michael Ray, I didn't read this. I didn't proofread this. This is really disturbing. It's almost like, and then, of course, the was $1,200, now $600. It's almost like scam websites go out of their way to give you an out. It's almost like scammers. It might be like unbeknownst to them, and they might be doing it subconsciously, where they give you an out. Like when I troll people, I try to give them an out, letting them know, hey, this is a fucking joke. What if scammers subconsciously like make a bunch of errors so only stupid people are the ones doing it, saving the smarts? Because if you're smart and you read this, you go, wow, this is bad. No smart person would read this and go, oh, where do I give you my 6? Listen to this. This goes on.
Or you want to make sure that only the dumbest people fall for your scam, so they'll never get one over.
You know what?
On you,
and I'm a little worried here right now. We're going to look at this Tate guy, who I guess we have this listener named Thomas, and he keeps bringing up this guy Tate, who he says trained Michaela on how to do one of these schemes. Like this is a practice that is taught by other guys. This whole website and the whole formatting of this website could very well be a deliberate scheme.
Yeah, someone says that's actually what they do. It's specifically to weed out smart people.
Because they don't want smart people involved in their scheme, because the smart people will bust their scheme.
Exactly.
So they only... And she went to Romania to study this with some guy named Tate. We're going to go over this too. Listen, I start every show as a gag, as a joke. It seems to be coming true right in front of our eyes, just like always, that whenever we pick up on somebody, it turns out they are who we thought they were. Listen to this. Let's go on. The knowledge I shared of these talks changed thousands of lives. Each day I received DM after DM from people saying they went from struggling with chronic illness to thriving and living the life of your dreams. But it wasn't always like this. Here's the story. And we know her story. She feels better than ever. I'm not going to read all that.
Juxtaposition
Look at this, and look how she writes it, too.
A font you can barely read.
On a black background. I mean, this thing really looks like a Dracula website. So we know her story. She's 27. She's had all these health problems. She started eating meat. Now she claims she's fine. Okay. The lion diet that healed me works for everyone. Wow, look at that. How can you say that? The lion diet that healed me works for everyone.
This lion diet.
This is really getting crazy here.
I don't think that you're even supposed to say stuff like that.
No, I swear I haven't seen it not work for people who are disciplined enough to stick to. Listen to these lines.
I swear.
This is what she's writing. I swear. And this is the front page. This is before you click buy now. I swear I haven't seen it not work for people who are disciplined enough to stick to it. Wow. But I had to stop doing the consultations. I just don't have the capacity and the time.
Well, she had to stop doing the consultations because she's not a nutritionist.
Exactly.
Isn't that?
How about mind your own fucking business? Get a job, lady. I get DMs on Instagram and hundreds of emails and FB messages, and I can't get to them all. And this is all written like a fucking onomatopoeia, where it's one line after another, like lyrics for a rap song. Yeah. Like if you go to rapgenius.com, it's laid out like this. I've never seen a paragraph written like this.
You might be able to click all those lines and see what they really mean.
She has become an arch fool. Yes, this is what I'm saying. We took little Michaela, little sweet Michaela, who we were just teasing, has actually become a villain. Wouldn't it be cool if on the third echo, after you yelled out it was slightly different? Ooh. It's happened to me. What's going on, Jules? You pointed over here? You did.
Nope.
Keep that finger up your pussy, like I said.
Sorry.
Whoa!
Keep that finger up your pussy. Keep
It's
it
up,
where
it's
it
up.
is safe. Keep it in that pussy. All right. The people on YouTube are going to love
Whoa,
that
whoa,
pussy
whoa,
part,
whoa.
right?
Yeah.
He's crazy. I also just can't spend my life on social media. That's not a boss life. What is with the inclusion of this boss thing? This is the third boss. So remember, she went, and we're going to cover this guy coming up soon. It looks like she went to a scheme trainer in Romania who taught her the ways of the scheme.
And he's like, these people
And he's like,
like to
come
be
up-
referred to as boss.
Well, no, he's like, come up with a buzzword that you could continue to call people that makes them feel like they're cool. And she's like, how about bosses? That's perfect. I've used that one many times. Look at this. That's not a boss life. Who wants to be, but nobody wants to be. Being a boss, it sounds incredibly horrible nowadays.
Sounds
you can't
stressful.
you can't Me Too anyone. You got to be on the up and up 24/7. Being a boss was cool in 1985. Being a boss now is incredibly stressful. What you want to be is rich and out of people's sights. That's what you want to be. You don't want to be in charge of anyone. You don't want anyone depending on you. Listen to this. We shouldn't be a slave to anything, whether it's food, illness, or social media. So I've really been thinking, how do I find these people who really need me and are willing to do anything to get better?
Jeez, yeah, wow. So you're admitting.
This is like she confuses what she types to her like partner in crime and what she types publicly. Look
We
at
need
it.
people who are willing to do anything, even pay $600 for
Yes.
nothing.
These people who send me 10 emails asking for consultations, the people with no support system to get better, but the drive to do it by themselves. I want to hang out with those people. I want to give them guidance that I wish I had. People with an inner drive to solve their problems no matter what. People who want to just nail living life. People who want to thrive. My kind of people. Lion people.
Oh God,
You don't write this way.
lion.
You know what I mean?
You don't
Especially
write
out of
this way.
context on a sell sheet on a website, on a landing page. This is so bizarre. I get people reaching out and they go, hey, I have help with you. I want to lose 30 pounds. And I tell them what to do. And I tell them to message me if they need support. And they say, yeah, I like pizza. And that is a huge waste of my time. I don't want to talk to those people. That's what she's writing. I want to talk to the people
No
that
one's
I'm not
forcing ya.
making this stuff up. I want to talk to people who have suffered and are absolutely fucking done with it. Whoa.
Oh my God.
Whoa!
Fucking.
I only want to talk to people that are suffering and that are fucking done with it.
I thought this was a professional
She is weird.
site.
This is weirder than I never read any of this. I'm reading this for the first time with you. She's officially weird. Don't feel bad. This is like a coup. These Canadians are the Gavin McInnes, Stephen Crowder, Lauren Southern, her. Why do they have such an interest in our fucking America? Get out of here. Seriously. Do this in Canada. This might be subtle, low-key Canadian warfare. Sending all these people here, confusing us. I mean, like every problem celebrity is from fucking Canada nowadays. Are they being sent in here?
Has Red Bar been infiltrated?
Get out of our country for a second. Get out of here.
Jules from Canada.
Fucking Canadians and their
forgot. That's
ideas
funny.
about a country they don't live in. Imagine if I did this. Went to another country and started laying down the law. Get out of here. Canadians. All right, look at this. I want to talk to people who haven't suffered but still have the drive to be a boss. Some people have the drive, but they've been hit over the head with life so much that they need some support. I want those people. We don't need to know which kind of people you want. That's weird. Look at this. So I'm offering that support in what I'm calling my lion's lair. It's a group of people who are driven to improve their lives, and I want to see what can happen when they optimize themselves. You have no idea. You get healthy and you change your mindset, and doors open everywhere. Opportunities become endless. Life gets insane when you're not half dead. The people in the lion's lair are superhumans, or trying to be, and they will get there because I can actually devote some time to helping them, particularly if I know they're motivated. Each day we talk online about having a better life. It's essentially being coached by me personally. This is so bizarre, and it's $600. Here's what you get when you join us inside the lion's lair today. Daily check-ins with the group. Each day, I'll check in with you to ensure that you're sticking to your goals and help give you pointers along the way. Daily meal ideas and instructions so that you never not know what to eat again. I know. Changing diets can be challenging. What do you cook? How do you cook it? Luckily, when you join Lion's Den today, I'll always have an abundance of super yummy meals for you to choose from.
I
Nope.
think there's only one.
I have followed you for 3 stinking years on Instagram, and literally you put a boneless ribeye in your air fryer every day, shut the drawer, let that sucker go for 11 minutes. It comes out terrible, and then you eat it in cubes.
Yeah, it's not even like she's a chef that's teaching you how to do this in a super yummy way.
Yes. Eat meat. There's your advice. Listen
Doesn't
to this.
matter how it tastes.
Ask me anything. You'll have the ability to ask me anything whenever you want. From life advice to diet advice to travel advice. I've been to Romania. No, I added that. I got you covered.
So what if 100 people do sign up for this? She has to be messaging back and forth with 100 people per day.
That's impossible.
Insane.
That's too many to handle. 2 in-person meetups per year. This is scary. 2 in-person meetups per year. Now, Melton actually ran something like this. I'll tell you about that later. Look at this. 2 in-person meetups per year. Twice a year, we'll meet in a location for fun activities, enjoy some great food, and have great conversations. Help to accomplish the change you want to see in yourself, health-related or otherwise. Tips and tricks I've learned after almost 10 years of research and finally successfully eliminating an autoimmune disorder. Support through lifestyle changes.
10 years of research, huh? That's misleading. It
Yeah,
wasn't
very.
scholarly
No,
research.
the carnivore diet just came out 6 days ago. Exclusive membership to the Lion's Lair Inner Circle, your 24/7 coaching group. Here's an important...
John Bob, where you been, dude?
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
What's up, brother? How you doing?
good. Where you been?
Where have I been?
Yeah.
Oh, I usually have meetings on the weekends, but I was gonna put it off this last week, and then I got hurt anyway. So that's, I might as well be here.
Yeah. What
Yeah.
happened?
I fell off a building.
Oh, what the hell? Not
Yeah.
supposed to do that.
Oh, it is what it is. That's why there's a wage gap, brother. Fucking men do more dangerous jobs.
Yeah.
We always have feminism crammed down our throat in our society, but you don't see 90% of the women doing the construction work that's dangerous. Then they're upset when we actually get a decent wage. Funny.
So what you been up to besides that? Besides falling off buildings?
Not a whole lot. Since I fell off the building, I've been pretty limited in my mobility.
Shit, you broke your arm?
Here's my right arm, and
Whoa.
that wrist in about, I don't know, 3-4 places. I
You
never
know
saw.
you wouldn't have broken that if you were vegan.
Yeah, I hear vegans are bulletproof. And then here's my right. I broke the thumb. I should have just went vegan. This would have never happened.
I know.
And then here's my right foot, and I broke the heel
Oh
on
my
that.
god, dude.
And I'm not done. Here's the left foot, and I broke the toes in that one. I can actually put weight on that one, so one of my 4 limbs is actually somewhat usable.
Dude.
Yeah.
Sucks.
It is what it is, man. I do the same thing again, you know. My wife was so mad at me. Oh, she was so upset with me. She didn't know what to make of what I said. Oh, you need to be careful. She's so upset. And it's like, you know, like, what am I supposed to do? Say no to work? I have a family to support, you know?
Yeah.
And she thinks I wasn't careful. Well, of course I'm careful, you know, but after a certain number of years, I mean, the odds are not in your favor. I've been working construction most of my life, and it's the first time I've ever had a broken bone or got hurt. So it's not like, you know, I tapped off my
Made up for lost time, it looks like. Jeez.
Well, this is actually kind of a good thing. You know, like I do plan on having a family yet. I didn't hurt my genitals. I didn't hurt any of my internal organs. I didn't hurt my spine, and I didn't crack my fucking head. So, I mean, honestly, I'm incredibly grateful for how things turned out. I'm not upset. I'm not mad. You know what I mean? Like, it turned out good. My
Yeah.
wife healthy and safe. Fucking, we're growing trees over there in the Philippines. Like, everything is going the right direction in my life. So I have no reason to complain whatsoever, you know?
Well, that's cool.
I didn't have to see anybody else fall and get hurt. I'm everything. I don't even have to have a surgery. Like, they were able to straighten out my wrist even. Oh, I had this conversation with this doctor as they were putting me under, right? I'm still chatting with the guy, and I remember him saying, Jesus Christ, most people can't even talk like this. What you're articulating is insane, you know, because I'm talking about veganism and medical. I mean, I'm right at home with doctors. I love medicine. I've studied a dozen different doctors. So he's complimenting me on what I'm talking about. And all of a sudden, I wake up because they're putting me under, and I feel them take the pressure off my foot. I look over to my right, and the arm is already done. But when I woke up, I was still having a complete conversation with these people. Well, I was like, it was my subconscious brain discussing medicine with the doctors for a
You
minute.
just kept going.
I guess we had a complete conversation from what I heard. The doctor was real impressed.
Yeah, it's creepy.
What about you? How are you, good brother?
Oh, I don't know. What have we been doing? Is that what he asked?
I didn't hear the question.
Oh. We just went on a hike.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
Where are you at? Is it warm or is it
Today.
cold? Oh,
What's
I
that?
bet it's beautiful over there.
Yeah, it was 77 today.
Nice.
Where are you at?
I'm in Minnesota, but I
That's right.
don't have, it's about 30 degrees, which ain't bad. This winter's been the
Yeah.
most wild winter I've ever seen. And honestly, I don't know. Global warming's a joke, man. Like, we used to have so much beautiful snow. We were known for our snow. Now we get rain all of December and a couple of cold days during January, the coldest month. We have like this much snow on the ground, if that.
Crazy.
Yeah, usually I go hiking in the middle of winter because nobody goes out when it's cold. You know, people like to bitch about the weather. Well, I like going out hiking when it's freezing because then nobody else is out there, and I got the entire forest to myself. You go to the nature reserve; it's beautiful, man.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went to I know, I think I mentioned already, I went to a family reunion up there. It was wild. Just a lot of lakes.
Right on. A lot of mosquitoes too around the lakes. I don't know why people are so into lake properties. But then again, I grew up in Minnesota where everybody wanted their cabin and the lakes and, you know, like they're all fishing, killing fish. And I just don't relate with those people. Now, the mountains, that's what I'm talking about. I never knew I loved mountains until I met my wife and we were up in the mountains together. And Dude, I feel so at home there. I've never seen views like that.
Yep. Have you been to California?
No, I haven't. Where do you go hiking? You got killer views there or
Oh
what?
man, yeah. People kind of underestimate Los Angeles. There's shocking nature here. Like 2 hours in every direction. You have, you can go snowboarding, you can go to the desert, you can go to redwood trees, you can go to the beach. Like everything's very close by here.
Really?
Yeah, the Santa Monica Mountains, which are right in Los Angeles, are like really, really nice mountains. We have the San Gabriels that are really nice. We go gold prospecting up there a lot. But yeah, the mountains are the shit.
I would love to go prospecting.
It's so fun.
You ever get anything?
Always.
Really?
Yeah.
How much average when you go prospecting?
I mean, not enough to cover gas.
Either
it's
way,
You
something.
might one day. It's like,
Yeah.
you never know.
You never know. You might.
well, even if you don't, it's a good entertainment. And if you set the gold off to the side, it stacks up. It's a good saving.
Exactly.
Exactly. And
That's-
it's more of a reason to get outside
Yep.
and to go, off the beaten path and go look at some historical areas, because we go to a lot of like ghost towns and stuff like that. It's super fun.
I want
Go
to say,
crystal hunting, go looking for crystals and agates and stuff like that.
Precious, here, show them your face. I can't lift you up. I'm broken, sweetie.
Is that
Show
the
up.
dog?
There's my dog. Yep, Precious Rhinoceros. My kid was like 3 when when he named her. He wanted her to have a tough name, and I said, "You can't name her a boy name." He's like, "Rhino." I said, "You can't do that. Her name is Precious." And he said, "Rhino." I said, "Okay, Precious Rhinoceros." I said. I wasn't winning the argument, I guess.
Check this thing out. I saw this video the other day. Allie found it. Found it. Brave. It's dues. Dues for birds.
Oh, they shoot birds?
It just scares them away.
What a fucked up world.
Instead of having to kill them like Garland says.
Why not let them part- Oh my goodness. I just don't know if I heard, I can walk, I think.
Oh, check this out. It's a trip. We're gonna get metards being like, "That's cruel. It's cruel to scare them away with lasers."
Yeah, they'll say it's cool, but they'll pay people $1 and still pick it up.
Wait, where was the one? There was one that was at nighttime. I found the video on here though.
What happens when everybody starts getting those? They become common and they have nowhere to land, or they fly to exhaustion and get hurt. I probably sound crazy, but you know what I mean? Like we are really fucking up nature, and that's just one example of something that could go wrong, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's better than killing them.
I agree. I just like to share the world on,
Yeah, obviously.
It's not ours, man. Fucked.
Yeah.
Maybe it is ours, but we could at least share, even if it
Yeah, it
was
was like what what's his who was it that was talking last week about the story of the guy that lived in the forest and, like basically took care of all the animals and they helped take care of him. It's like, and you got these guys like Hard Hat that are like, oh, I'm this guy out in the bush, and I'm just trying to be with nature and, taking an animal, like that's like my thing, as a guy in the bush. But it's like, wouldn't you rather be a guy in the bush and have like an awesome relationship with all the animals around you and like, help each other and take care of each other and that, and like have that kind of power versus just being this guy that is disconnected from all the animals and just, kills them every once in a while?
Yeah, be part of nature, enjoy nature rather than going up against nature. Yeah. That'd be wonderful. I not do that.
Yep.
Check my beard hair, sweetie. Sorry, I'm rambling. Talking about my cast. For some reason, like if I were to scratch myself with the cast, it catches my beard hair.
Oh, weird.
Yeah. It don't matter. I'm gonna get rid of it all tomorrow. I'm gonna get rid of my facial hair and my hair on my head. I got a month here, so I don't need to be able to maintain shit like that when I can't even wash my hands good.
Yeah. Breaking bones is crazy. Allie broke her collarbone last year, but she healed in like upper percentile time.
Oh, I'm sure. When you eat right, shit heals quick.
Yep.
It was just crazy seeing like I got 3 x-rays over, it was like each a month apart, and then every x-ray, like I didn't have surgery or anything, but my body just pulled the break straight. It's a trip.
It just like sucked it back together from the inside. It was like really weird.
Sounds like what I went through with my spine. I had a degenerative disc disease and I had 4 curves in my spine, and my body curves when I started eating right.
Your body corrected itself and you started eating right?
Yeah, go figure, huh?
Wow.
I had undiagnosed scoliosis growing up. And then I was jumping on a trampoline and crushed 2 vertebrae and they fused together. But I remember doing it when I was a kid. I just landed wrong I was like doing a backflip and I landed wrong and it like knocked the wind out of me and I like laid on this trampoline alone for like an hour and then like literally crushed my vertebrae in my back. It was nuts.
Oh no. So what's that like these days? Is it all recovered?
Whenever I go and like get an X-ray, they're always all, oh my god, like. But I feel like all chiropractors do that. They're all like they make money off of. I've always had like lower back pain. And I remember around the time I did it, I was in Boy Scouts and I was doing like serious hikes up like Mount Whitney and shit. And I remember it affecting me quite a bit back then with like a 50-pound backpack on my back. But it's definitely like I definitely feel like I've always had a weak back, but I've been able to work around it for the most part.
Why don't you look into autophagy, man?
What's that?
Autophagy is, well, essentially it's starvation. And when you're starving your body will start eating itself. Like I repaired a lot of different stuff, but it wasn't until I started doing autophagy and stuff that I started repairing like certain long-term things, like my stigmatism in my eye. I had restored my my close-sighted vision to 20/20, but I had astigmatism that affected my distance vision. I started doing water fasting and starving myself. Well, then your body starts eating all the damaged stuff and repairing it and replacing it.
Yeah.
Might get results with mending your bones with autophagy, buddy. I've read the research.
You talking about fasting and stuff? I fasted for years.
You fasted on what? Like dry fasting, water fasting?
No, I haven't done a water fast. That shit's sketchy.
Dude, I'm telling you, look up autophagy. There's books on it. There's information out there, and I mean, people are getting results. You know, we're not designed. We're not digestion machines. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
we're just get a lot and then run out. You know, like survive without it. Like we've never had such food prevalence in our existence to our knowledge. You know, we're supposed to have to for that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love you too.
What were you saying now? Yeah. I don't know. For my lifestyle, it's really like I fasted for around 3 years, doing usually like like a 4-hour eating window. I would occasionally do like a full like 18 to 20. I always did the intermittent, which was, I didn't never do like multiple day ones, but I mean, at one day, I remember I was trying to do yoga one day after fasting like 20 hours and I almost fucking passed out. It was like pretty tough. But yeah, I don't know, just because of our lifestyle, how much, like, how active we are. It's pretty hard to fast and expect to stay active. But as far as like doing it maybe like once a year, obviously that's something pretty interesting. You said your back straightened out. I have like straight up fused. I have like anomalies in my back, which make it like bend in a weird way, and then I have like fused discs. It's pretty gnarly.
Surprised what you could fix if you do it right, but 18 to 20 hours ain't gonna do it because intermittent fasting, the autophagy process that I told you about, that doesn't kick in until about 48 to 72 hours. So
Jesus
about
Christ.
but yeah, if you're gonna do it once a year, do like a 7 to 10 day, and you'll have like 7 to 10 days of your body eating the worst cells in your body, the most damaged shit, clearing it out and replacing it with good stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know it sounds hardcore. It really is. I have a really hard time with water fast. I did a 120-day juice fast this year, and that was awesome. Made me feel great. Cleaned out all sorts of bad stuff. But it's a whole different monster when you're not consuming anything,
Yeah, that's nuts. And then just like no fiber. Yikes.
Well, the no fiber thing, that's not so bad because you're not a digestion machine, and if you keep pushing it in, you never empty out. If you're constantly digesting, your body can't focus on healing itself. So it's good to give it a break, But when you're not consuming fiber, I definitely recommend coffee enemas.
Like I definitely really like when I was fasting a lot, I definitely think I think maybe like I definitely felt like it was doing something, but I don't know if it was placebo or not ever, because placebo can be pretty heavy. Like I was definitely strong, when I was fasting, as far as like lifting stuff or like pull-ups and stuff like that like, but as far as like being able to go ride, like we do, it would be pretty tough if I was doing that often. But I did do intermittent fasting for a long time, and it just saved me money. I was cheap, so didn't have to spend as much money on food. So I looked at it as I could spend money on better food, less better food, basically. But I don't even know what that is anymore, really.
Well, here's the thing. You do biking. That's a fucking endurance sport. That takes a lot, and I mean a lot of calories doing that.
We basically dump all of our muscle glycogen in our body at least once on a ride, and then try and refill it. And there aren't many sports where you're able to do that, like completely gas yourself out and then like recover while you're doing it. Because like running, you run to a certain point, you just collapse. you don't collapse when you're on a bike. You can rest when you're on the bike. So you could push yourself farther on a bike and deeper and really like, but you're not really supposed to be empty. You're supposed to keep eating. Like it's really hard to eat when you're riding really far because your body's just like, don't worry about eating, just keep going. You're being chased by a lion. Just keep going because you're kind of tapping into your adrenals to, when you're riding that hard for that long, your body thinks something's wrong, so it's like, don't worry. You don't get really hungry when you're on the bike, so you have to keep eating or else you'll just run out of energy like completely. So it's been really interesting. And then along with the veganism, it's just so much easier to keep the macros in the right place for whatever you want to do. Whether it's, do bike stuff or not do bike stuff. But I used to I've never had cardio in my life, and now I have cardio and it's really fucking cool. Like it's, we went on a hike today, like a 7-mile hike, and I didn't even break a sweat the whole time. Like it was really not that big of a deal. Where back in the day I'd at least be like sweaty and huffing, and like most of the stuff I'd have to take more breaks than that. But yeah, cycling's pretty cool, and it's, you aren't burning petroleum. We're able to use it as transportation a lot more than cars. So like I spent the whole summer in Northern California just bike based. It was the longest period of time I've ever just been, strictly using a bike because we were in a small town. And that was pretty cool, just riding every single day for several months. Really got kind of like a base fitness in. It's pretty rad.
I'd say you're saving money, but biking isn't a cheap sport.
Oh no, I'm not saving any money. Biking's very expensive.
It's cheaper than a car.
It's cheaper than a car. Yeah, they're honestly probably more expensive to maintain than a car, though.
That's not true.
I don't know.
You don't have
Not
to
a
use
Prius.
lightweight parts and road parts.
Yeah, well, how we do.
Bike.
Yeah,
It doesn't have
yeah.
to be as expensive.
We buy
We
expensive
choose
shit.
To use,
Yeah.
nicer, lighter parts that. Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like everybody I know that's into biking buys expensive shit.
Well, you want the lighter bike. You can go farther on a lighter bike. So all the marketing is geared towards selling you this really expensive light stuff. So you can have a really light bike and go really far with it. So it's like, but the industry's all BS these days. That's at least what they're, all the industries are kind of, advertising and marketing is all pretty crazy these days. Oh, where'd that article go? Oh, here it is. Shit.
I mean, you could also, it's a very, from a vegan moral standpoint, you are causing less, you have your risk for causing harm on all living beings is less riding a bike versus drive. I think about that, like even just like driving sometimes I'm like, man, like I don't even want to it's so much more debt you could possibly, obtain by just like karmically having more of a weapon. You can't hurt something. I've hit squirrels on my bike descending really fast and totally they're dead. Unfortunately, it happened a lot in Santa Cruz, but so I'm not saying you can't kill things on your bike, but it's definitely less dangerous.
But then again, I've never even hit a squirrel with my car.
That's good. Yeah, I haven't really hit many with my car. I think the bike, it's quieter, so they just will run out because it's almost happened a couple times, and then it finally did happen on the bike. But yeah, at least the car is louder. You think probably just avoid you a little better.
I bet you're right. I bet you it's the noise of the car. And I'm not saying it don't happen. I see animals on the road that got ran over. It's a thing,
Yeah. You should you ever go through Texas? It's a thing. We've never seen. So we rode we rode to this event in Goss, Texas, and from Austin. It was like 80 miles, and we were bunny hopping dead animals the whole time. Like it was. I've never I've never spent such a long period of time smelling dead stuff in my life. We came home and we still smelled it in the back of our throats for like a week. Like, it's so gross. Armadillos.
That
So
is
many
weird.
armadillos.
Well, we didn't know.
And
I didn't know what I
skunks.
was seeing at first because they're like scaly and smashed up. Like
They look
so,
like
I'm what kind of
reptiles.
animal? Yeah, I'm like, is that a big lizard? Or
Armadillo, cool looking animals. That's sad they got hurt.
Yeah.
Aren't they like our only marsupials?
No, that's possums.
So I saw this article. New study reveals ancient Egyptians were mostly vegetarian. And I know I know a certain guy who's way into Egyptian stuff that didn't like seeing this article.
Yeah, I
Cough,
tried
just a
wearing
teeny
the
cough.
beanie,
Yeah.
but he'll cherry pick because
No, he had a meltdown in that thread.
It's fun.
No, he
Dude,
just repeats the same things over and over again that don't make sense that we've all debunked to his face 1,000 times. But yeah, I want to read this. New research published in the Journal of Archaeological Science, as reported in Live Science, has shed light, or Live Science, I get it, has shed light on the ancient Egyptian diet by analyzing the carbon atoms in mummies that had lived in Egypt between 3500 BC and 600 AD. The French research team were able to determine that ancient Egyptians were largely vegetarian. The analysis was carried out on the remains of 45 ancient Egyptians that had been sent to 2 museums in Lyon, France during the 19th century, and involved a cutting-edge technique involving the measurement of carbon ratios taken from bone, tooth, and enamel and hair. We had an approach that was a little different, quote, explained Alexandra Tuzo, who led the research team at the University of Lyon. We worked a lot with bones and teeth, while most research studies hair, collagen, and proteins. We also worked on different periods, not many individuals for each period. Different periods, not many individuals for each period. So we could cover a very long time span. All carbon atoms are taken in by plants and carbon dioxide in the atmosphere by a process of photosynthesis. By eating plants and the animals that had eaten plants, the carbon ends up in our bodies. Analyzing the carbon can actually reveal what a person has eaten. The results revealed that the ancient Egyptians were mainly vegetarian, and their diet was primarily wheat and barley based. Cereals such as millet and sorghum formed a minor part of their diet, less than 10%. One of the most unusual discoveries that there seemed to have been little fish in their diet. Most people would probably expect the ancient Egyptians living along the Nile to have eaten a lot of fish. And archaeological excavations have found mummified fish in large quantities. However, at least in the 45 individuals studied, fish was not prominent in their diet. There is abundant evidence for fishing in Egypt. Wall reliefs and models. Hey, Justin, wall paintings. Cave painting carvings. Both spear and net fishing and fish show up in offering lists. There is also a lot of archaeological evidence for fish consumption from sites such as Gaza and Armama, said Kate Spence, an archaeologists and specialists in ancient Egypt at the University of Cambridge in England. All this makes it a bit surprising that the isotopes should suggest that fish was not widely consumed. In ancient cultures, vegetarianism was much more common, except in nomadic populations, and eating meat was a development that occurred more recently. Oh, boy. I know a lot of people aren't going to like to hear that. Holy crap. Primal diet.
There's a lot of cultures that they're doing the tests. I mean, when you're in the equator and it's nice and warm and you have plenty of plants to eat from, like, no need for that shit, man. It's crazy. I don't know what people are thinking, claiming that we're meat eaters when, and don't get me wrong, there are some exceptions, like the 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 Inuits and the Maasai. But look at the
Yeah, but they don't
Maasai.
live past 50.
Yeah, the Maasai died in their early 40s, and actually the Inuit live longer than you'd think. But I think that's just because they have a harder life and they burn more calories. So it's kind of good for you to keep the body. You know what I mean? I
They
think
recently did a study on some mummies, some Inuit mummies that they found that were a couple hundred years old, and they were filled with heart disease.
Oh, really? I'm
Yeah.
not surprised.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised at all. I mean, eating meat causes fucking heart disease. It causes cancer. It causes diabetes. We repeatedly have medical studies, and then these idiots say, "Oh, they're proving the other way." They'll fund it. Any industry-funded propaganda they can get support their argument. That's been proven wrong.
Oh no,
Shit.
we aren't hearing you, John.
Come back, okay?
Okay.
How's it going?
Hey, buddy.
What's up, Gord?
Yo.
I definitely broke the camera on my laptop.
Still?
Oh yeah,
I think
did.
you just like this picture of yourself.
It wasn't a software problem. I must have broken it while closing it or something like that. I have too much strength.
I think you just really like that picture.
Yeah, it's a hardware problem. Need to get some kind of external camera.
Yeah, these webcams are kind of a pain in the butt. They don't load. They don't like. I have to try mine several times before it works. So what you been up to, bro?
I got a new laptop before I left Korea, and
Yeah.
what have I been up to?
Yeah. You just preparing to head out again, or did you?
Yeah, setting up some interviews. Trying to think about where in the country I would prefer to live this time, and how much salary I'm going to ask for, and things like that. But I've got a few interviews coming up pretty soon.
That's cool.
Yeah,
I'll think about that article I just read.
Quick. Yeah. About our ancestors.
Yeah.
It's just kind of common sense when you think about what the other great apes are like, and we know that humans originated in Africa, surrounded by lots of edible vegetation. Our closest relatives, chimps, bonobos, gorillas, looking at what they eat, and then looking at our physiology, and not even the kind that's like hard to find out about, like what the digestive systems of different types of animals look like, but just the obvious stuff, just the obvious fact that we're not equipped to like chase down an antelope and then rip it apart with our nails and our teeth.
Yeah.
It's not at all surprising that for the vast majority of human evolutionary history, they were eating
like looking at a cow, like wouldn't we just be all like, oh, like wouldn't it be like uncontrollable looking at meat?
That's true too.
Wouldn't
Yeah,
it like drive us nuts to look at meat and not eat it? Like you'd have
Our
some sort of
senses.
feeling looking at meat. Yeah, you could look at bacon and be, oh, yum, bacon, but you're tapping into the saltiness of the bacon,
when it's cooked and prepared, and especially when it's cleaned,
Yeah, like it doesn't taste like anything if you just eat it. Like
big
it
pile
taste
of guts
really good.
don't look appetizing, right? To the vast majority of humans, which
Dude,
they
when
definitely
I see the
do
fruit
to like
guy on the side of the road
coyote.
with the fruit, it gives me like it's the same feeling I used to get like watching, like when I was 13 in junior high, watching the girls PE class run around the fucking field. I'd be all like all hormones. Like it's the same feeling. I feel this little twinge of like excitement about fruit, but I don't get that from meat. Like it's kind of weird.
Yeah, and we have this evidence as vegans too for many of us, not necessarily for everybody, but within just a few months, it switches back to being disgusting, right? It switches back to meat, not necessarily all animal products, but especially raw meat, especially like frying meat.
Oh
I
yeah,
had
you
the
want butt
I had the
cancer?
experience.
Eat
I think
fried meat.
it was like 6 months to 8 months, something like that, where suddenly like this stuff that I used to eat every day is just vile, just not food at all. Just
Yeah.
this different awful smell that's in the same category as like feces and vomit and
Yeah.
and like the weird smells that you'd find in a morgue or something like that. A lot of us have had that experience where our senses just flip back, and if we were a species like like a tiger, there's no way
lion.
that would ever happen, right?
Yeah. You'd still be like, oh, well, I need that, and like they are, but we don't.
Well, you could imagine
at McDonald's.
What?
Like, so I was
Oh.
raised like I from like to like about like 5, maybe 6 years old. I was raised vegetarian, so no meat at all. And so I'd remember I'd be like going on a play date with a friend, and they'd stop at McDonald's. And I just remember the smell of McDonald's as a kid was like, I
Ooh.
didn't understand. I'm like, I would always ask, like, what is that smell? What does that smell? And they'd be like, what do you mean? Like, that's like the food. It was like for some reason, like, and I don't know what it was, like, maybe the burgers or something, but then it switched. I remember, so like I ended up starting to eat meat because my Greek grandmother just couldn't handle it, so she started sneaking me meat or whatever, and then it didn't, the smell that like I didn't have the same effect anymore. So it was like a reverse switch, and then it like switches back again. Like, what was it, like one of the last like family dinners we had, there was like turkey cooking, I think it was Thanksgiving, and it was like I walked into the garage and it was like smelled like burning hair.
So gross.
And I was like, I didn't even associate it with the cooking meat. I'm like, what is that burning? And I thought of that like being at McDonald's as a kid, just being like not even understanding that, like, that it was food smell coming out of there.
Doesn't
but yeah,
McDonald's deliberately pump out smells into their like dining area?
Yeah.
They do it on purpose. They pump out this, what to some people
savory smells. Yeah.
It's just vile. Other fast food restaurants, Carnes fast food is not the same way. It's specifically McDonald's. It's just to even go in there to try to get a coffee or whatever. It's just a horrific place. It just assaults your senses.
I remember walking into Whole Foods. I was probably like 2 months vegan again. And I walked by the meat section and I almost fucking threw up. And I was all, whoa, like that never did that to me before. Yeah, like you don't even, seriously, like I had to run away. And it's like, wow, that's strange.
It's like you can do so much with against an organism's natural biology, right? You can, if you try to do like a straight conversion therapy for gay kids, you can kind of get them to like temporarily change their
you could totally
reactions a little bit, but then
suppress
how long
them
is it gonna if they go back to a place where their biological nature is accepted and available, how long is it going to take them to switch back to their true nature? About like 20 seconds. And that's what happens when we stop eating animal products. At least a lot of us, is our bodies are like, okay,
Yeah. Well, no, and I have even friends who are not even vegan at all, friends and family. Like I know my dad's like this. He's like, I feel different when I'm just off meat. And he's like, I just don't really crave it as much. And it's just hard just having a family and, all of the impracticalities of life, whatever, to be vegan. But it's just,
which is BS.
But yeah, it's a total whatever. But still, it's just like multiple omnivores that I know that just acknowledge it, that it's like, I feel a difference. The less I eat it, the less I want it. It seems to be a common theme, at least anecdotally. Like, and yeah,
There's a
how
new
we've
vegan
experienced it,
restaurant
but-
right on the corner of his block.
Yeah, he could start going.
The black
But-
comedian guy, what's his name? That just
Oh, Kevin Hart.
Kevin Hart.
That's right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
opened up a vegan drive-through place in Hollywood, like right in the middle of Hollywood.
But you still have to be. He'd still have to be saying to his all his friends and all his extended family, everybody else, you know.
Yeah, you got to.
Oh, I can't go to the place that you're going, or I won't go to the place you're going. Like, let's go to this place.
We've gone to
let me
like
be the one that
seafood
always
restaurants.
tells you where we have to go. You know.
Yeah,
That's,
we've gone to like seafood restaurants because like a family member wanted to go there, and we just go, and there's literally like nothing for us to eat. We just sit there and like, it's funny.
That's a part of why veganism is the most pressing moral issue to support, is because I mean, it is the largest amount of suffering that's going on in the world, but it's also that the vast majority of the problem, the obstacle for people is that network effect. The reasons that it's hard to go vegan, the reason it's a sacrifice to go vegan, are almost entirely because other people around you aren't vegan yet.
Yeah.
If they were, then the fast food restaurants would be easily available. You know, the school menu would already
Like how
Yeah.
Chris Hines was saying it is in the UK right now. Like he's like,
yeah, in London, yeah,
he's like
especially
sneeze
yeah,
and
in
fall
the
over
UK.
2 vegan restaurants. Like that's crazy.
Yeah, if people could do that just as easily.
He said it happened in the last 5 years. Like that's
Like
how
they-
fast. I mean,
it can
it's a
happen
small
really
island, but-
fast because it's network effects. Nothing else is like that. If you want to like effective altruism, you want to do good for the poorest humans on earth. You know, if you want to cure the worst diseases on earth, then which we should do, you know. Okay, so we donate a bunch of money and we eradicate tuberculosis worldwide and we eradicate malaria. And then as you start doing more and more of that, it gets more expensive. It gets, you know, which is normally how things work economically, right? You take the low-hanging fruit and then things get harder and harder. There's diminishing marginal utility. But when you're held back by network effects, when the reason why something is hard is only because other people aren't doing it yet, then the more progress you make on it, the easier it gets, the cheaper it gets, the less of a sacrifice it is for the subsequent people to go vegan. Once enough people have done it, that the options are available everywhere you go.
Yeah.
And so that
We vegan.
yeah, the initial push to make like more and more cities around the world, like London, you know.
We don't spend. What do we spend on food? $500.
Yeah, I mean we go a little over, but we totally can. Like if like
$500
not
a month,
splurging on expensive
and eating like
non-necessities.
vegetables and like good
Rice,
food.
vegetables, fruit. That's like
Cereal.
base. Yeah, focusing on carbs, protein, fat, whatever. But shit, what was I gonna say? I totally forgot.
Yeah.
I thought.
So we
Expense is not a reasonable excuse.
So, and then this article came out this week also, which is another freaking vegan win here. So we got Egyptian vegetarians, which sounded like maybe those were royalty though. Yeah, so even the Egyptian royalty weren't eating that much meat, which is pretty wild. Then we get this one. In a significant departure from the widely spread accepted view of early human societies as hunter-gatherers who were primarily meat-dependent, recent research seemed to prove otherwise. Spearheaded by the University of Wyoming of all places, not California, not San Francisco. Spearheaded by the University of Wyoming's assistant professor Randy Haas a new study revealed strikingly different dietary habits of early humans. The term hunter-gatherer, is long synonymous with early human groups, is now being reconsidered, particularly for societies in the Andes of South America. The findings suggest a more accurate descriptor would be hunter-gatherers.
All right.
New insights into new human diets. Haas, along with a team of researchers from various prestigious institutions, undertook a detailed analysis of human remains from two burial sites in Peru, Huilamaya Pacha and Soromike Pacha. Contrary to long-held belief that early human diets were predominantly meat-based, the study discovered that the diets in the Andean mountains were composed of approximately 80% plant matter and only 20% meat, which is China diet, right? Which is the China study. It was like 70-30 or something.
Yeah.
The study, entitled Stable Isotope Chemistry, revealed plant-dominating diet among early foragers to the Andean Altiplano, utilized isotope chemistry and statistical modeling. This approach provided a fresh perspective on the dietary habits of Andean societies dating back 9,000 to 6,500 years ago, and challenging the traditional narratives of hunter-gatherer diets. The conventional wisdom surrounding early human economies has long emphasized hunting. The belief has influenced modern dietary trends, such as the paleo diet, which is advocating for high protein, meat-centric diet. However, Haas research tells a different story. The isotopic composition of human bones from these ancient Andean societies indicates a diet where plant foods, particularly tubers like potatoes, were the primary sustenance, relegating meat to a secondary role. This finding is further supported by evidence such as the burnt plant remains at the sites and distinctive dental wear patterns indicating of tuber consumption. The study presented a collaborative effort involving researchers from Penn State University, the University of California, Merced, blah, 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 blah. The initial excavations in 2018 of the Huilamaya Pacha burial site also provided a valuable opportunity for undergraduate students to engage in PhD.
We get it. I think we got to be careful about this stuff because, you know, the question of the ethics of, you know, being more or less like our ancestors, you know.
Well, I know it's not the greatest. It's a fallacy for sure to say that what they were doing was exactly right. It's just interesting because it's contrary to what a lot of people think.
Yeah, these people probably didn't have the best ethics about, you know, how to treat their neighbors, how to resolve a conflict.
Yeah.
Or, you know, how to treat people who are really different from you. Maybe not the best, like sexual ethics.
Cavemen.
Maybe they still probably had like the, you know, the father being able to decide who he gives his daughter to, and then she has to obey that man because men are more physically powerful and that kind of stuff, you know. Treating like neighboring tribes, and they probably didn't have like expanded circle ethics toward animals either, you know. Maybe sure their majority of their diet is plant-based, but if there was some animal annoying them, they might have just you know, thrown a stone and killed that bird and laughed at it, you know.
I think it speaks more to like the argument for like nutrition wise, at least what I've heard generally from the more extreme carnist
race
of just, there's no what's the word I'm thinking of? There's no like established like example of, there's no precedent set by any society that's ever lived based it off. There's no, and why still it's like even that is, it's a fallacy. Just it's healthy just because our ancestors did it. It's just
Yeah,
like
exactly.
the nice little well.
All they're
that's
saying is, I
not
don't
really
know of
true.
any that have been,
Yeah.
really they're just showing their ignorance. But
And
that
like,
there's-
sure, yes,
yeah.
none of these, they're not saying they're vegan, but just from, so if any, coming from a strictly nutritional, majority plant-based diet, let's say, then we have perhaps some examples of these societies that we once thought. Yeah, but ethically,
Yeah.
no, I think it stands as any sort of like.
Look at this
measure.
comment right here, because this really goes to the heart of the matter. The idea that if something is causally responsible for you existing or for the current state of the world existing, then that becomes a justification for it or for actions that are similar to it. It's completely absurd when you actually have a comprehensive understanding of causality. None of us here right now would be alive if it were not for the Nazi Holocaust, because of butterfly effect kind of stuff,
Or that's almost like, like spanking kids is okay because I got spanked and look how I turned out. I turned out okay. Like,
they're
it's like,
abusing children.
That's even worse than that. It's like, he's saying, of course, in every single one of our ancestral pasts, there, or like our the chain of our ancestors, there were many instances of sexual assault. Of course, there were
Incest
in genocide and incest and slavery to get the resources, and but similarly, just the causal, the way that causality works is like everything in the past needed to happen in order for the present to exist in exactly the way it is. And the fact that Hitler and the Nazi Holocaust was causally necessary for my grandfather's life to be influenced in precisely the way it was to produce my father. It's not any sort of moral justification. We need to base our morality upon predictable effects on the future.
Indeed.
I don't know what else Race Lever's comment would be meant to imply, but I think that's it's either just a gross misunderstanding of what.
Well, he's kind of a jokester. Almost all his comments
right,
are something funny.
Or I mean, I guess that's a response to somebody who's trying to deny that there was any sort of horrifically immoral behavior in the past that was necessary for them to be like. Maybe some religious people it might conflict with their view, but it certainly doesn't conflict with mine, many evil actions of the past, many very common evil actions of the past have been part of the chain of causality that led to us being here now. So what? Ethics is about the future. Ethics is about rational predictions of what our choices will cause from here on out. Yeah. I don't know if I would say funny. I see the method there. Kind of getting back on track is, a lot depends upon the Steven Pinker idea of an arc of moral progress. A lot depends on that, because if that's not actually a thing that we can predict will continue, then the antinatalists are right, and it is better if just all life were to be destroyed as soon as possible. I have a strong inclination to believe that there is this natural arc of moral progress. There is this we're coming closer and closer to moral truth. We're getting more advanced in our morality in a similar way that we are getting more advanced in our mathematics, our logic, and our science. But if it's not going to keep, if human society is not going to keep getting morally better, then you know what? Then right now we're worse than nothing. The antinatalists are right now. The world is worse than nothing right now, and it can be better than nothing, and it can be so much better than nothing that it dwarfs the badness. If we get to the place of valuing happiness, well-being, flourishing, and applying our resources to greatly reducing suffering, we can be the beginning of a spacefaring civilization of immense happiness. But if there's not that sort of trend, then then I don't know what else we have to say to the antinatalists.
Fair enough.
Sorry, I'll let you
What do you
guys
think, John
respond
Bob?
to this.
Hey guys, sorry about that. Is this what I missed?
Oh, we just read an article about how hunter-gatherers were actually gather hunters, and they actually ate a lot more plant-based than historically we've thought. And we read an article about ancient Egypt being far more vegetarian than anything.
I think most ancient cultures, I think that the hunter-gatherer idea is wrong, even if we say it's far more gather. I don't think we were ever hunters. We have flat fingernails. Look at me. Look how busted up I am. Do I look like a fucking predator or a carnivore? Like I'm all big and bad and tough? No, we're fucking vulnerable, man.
Yeah.
Well, it is clear that humans are adapted for distance running, right?
Which means to run away.
Well, maybe, but no. An animal that needs to run away from a predator needs to be able to sprint incredibly fast. I do think that the standard explanation for humans distance running and really strong ability to sweat and get rid of the heat.
Yeah.
The best explanation is that they kind of surrounded a prey animal and gradually ran it down until it ran out of steam and basically collapsed. Yeah.
I mean,
Meat
or
eater?
covering
What?
distance for being a gatherer, like you can
Yeah.
gather more,
Gather farther away.
more variety of things, whether it's
Yeah.
hunting or gathering. Just being able to cover distance efficiently and in heat. But I mean, it
Heat
could
or
be
cold or
Yeah.
rough
could be
terrain.
a combination of both those things. I mean,
It doesn't have
humans
to
are
be
also
simply
be-
for chasing down prey.
Could also be interhuman warfare, because of being such a social species with language or proto language, this ability to communicate and coordinate. A lot of that running ability might have had to do with like
Being smart enough to live another day.
chasing down your enemies to exterminate, being smart enough to live, but also being like efficient enough to destroy your warring tribes.
Well,
Yeah.
I'd like to bring this up. You guys brought up sweating. Sweating is an adaptation that's specifically in plant eaters. You look at a dog when it's winded, or does it pant? That's a meat eater. They have completely different, you know what I mean, ways of dealing with heat.
But aren't we? We're far more adapted for sweating and in other ways for distance running than chimpanzees are.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not saying we're not designed to run. I'm saying sweating isn't an argument for us being meat eaters. It's an argument for us being plant eaters. Plant eaters sweat. It's an evolutionary trait that evolves in plant eaters specifically.
So, but how could we have become more plant eaters than chimps, our nearest relatives? I mean, their diet is almost entirely plants.
I think it's supposed to be entirely plants too, whole food, plant based, specifically fruits. I mean, we crave sweets for a reason, man.
Yeah.
I forget now. Do we? So we don't produce. We need vitamin C, right? We can't produce vitamin C. I forget. Do other apes, primates, can they produce vitamin C, or do they also need dietary vitamin C?
Oh no, I'm pretty sure that they're like us.
Yeah.
They're heavily fructivores. They eat a ton of vitamin C.
Exactly. Yeah. Frugivores can produce their own vitamin C. The meat eaters can't. The plant eaters can. That also goes for the foraging animals too. They can do it too. So,
like squirrels.
What?
Like squirrels.
Honestly, those are rodents. They are mammals, but I think squirrels were omnivores. But I guess I'm not. No, they are plant eaters, aren't they?
Yeah. I don't know. I've been seeing some crazy videos on Instagram of weird animals eating animals that you wouldn't expect. Like I watched a video of a pelican eating a squirrel. Like,
wow,
whoa, like some weird. Or there was like a seagull that ate like something wild. Like seeing some weird. Birds are weird, man.
There are lots and lots of like primarily herbivores that kind of get supplemented with insects, just because insects are so incredibly numerous. You know.
Yeah.
When you're looking for any food source you can come across, it's hard to avoid some sort of insect in nature. But then insects are generally like incredibly heavily reproducing species, so they don't even usually have extremely good adaptations to avoid being caught. You know, they do what they do by reproducing really, really fast. So
bugs? Yeah, they aren't very smart.
Yeah, so you can see how like very many like primarily like frugivores or herbivores are like happy when they come across some ants to just lick up those ants.
I think we'd be surprised with how smart the insects are, especially the ants. They have entire cities. I know it sounds crazy, but they do. They have social structures. What?
It's not saying that there's not sophistication or intelligence there. It's saying that intelligence is mostly not applied to keeping all of the individual members alive.
Yeah, I don't think they give a shit about that, honestly.
Yeah, exactly. They keep the hive alive. They keep the colony alive. With the individuals being like highly dispensable, including being like eaten by other larger animals while they're out and about. So, like I'm saying, that's why there's a lot of like primarily plant eating animals that also like eat some ants when they come across them. Much more than there are like highly carnivorous animals.
Well, I think it's common for a percentage of everything's diet to be wrong because let's face it, we're all dumb animals on this planet. We put weird shit in our mouth. You ever see a 2-year-old eat crayons? It's a thing. Like,
Yeah.
but that's like the ultimate like meatheads argument these days. Blah blah blah. Look at this animal eating a mouse. Like it's because that horse
Yeah.
does that.
There's the classic vegan argument. I think Gary Rofsky used it a lot. If you take an infant in a crib or whatever, toddler, and you put an apple and you put, I guess not an infant because they need to have teeth, but he's like something like that. If you put a strawberry in a rabbit, the child's gonna eat the strawberry and play with the rabbit. But I'm wondering if there were like ants or beetles or cockroaches or something walking around. I doubt that the instinct would be to play with the cockroach. I think probably a lot of young children would just pop the cockroach in their mouth.
Maybe.
As long as the insect doesn't produce like a extremely bitter taste as a form of defense, then the child would keep on eating those bugs that were coming through. They wouldn't have
Allie
the same
had like a dog
play with
growing up.
response as for a mammal or bird.
Allie had a dog growing up, like it was Doberman, right? The pinkies.
Oh, it was a little chihuahua.
Oh, it was a chihuahua that ate him?
Yeah.
Ew. She like showed the dog some little baby mice. Like, hey, look at the little pinkies, and the dog just gobbled them all up. So
Like,
gross.
Like it was just a treat. Like
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
"Oh,
like,
let's
here's
show
a
the
little
dog
meat
and
treat,
see what the
like,
reaction is.
Yeah. And it's just a hump. We're like,
Oh my goodness.
gross.
Those little dogs like Chihuahuas are bred to attack mice, though, aren't they?
Yeah.
I think so. So she's just like, it is
Some
my neighbor.
genetics thing going on there.
Yeah. Like, grab and shake. What's up, Devin?
That would freak me out too, though.
What's up, man? Just thought I'd
Hey,
sneak
Devin.
in on my drive home.
You enjoying
I don't know
that
how much
vehicle
time-
like usual?
What's that?
You flossing that
Yeah,
ride?
I'm stuck in the Vegas traffic here on the 15, the main highway. There's just always construction. Our state flower is the orange street cone.
Devin likes the finer things in life. Nice firearms and Japanese SUVs.
That's right. I'm so jealous of all the pictures people are putting out of the new GX 550. Some people are already getting early demos and models.
Cool.
That new Land Cruiser shouldn't be too far behind.
Yeah. That's crazy. Oh, there's too many sensors for me, but yeah.
Yeah,
Oh.
they're pretty electrical. This car included. Definitely relies on a lot of computers.
Yeah. I think there's like only a couple that really disable the vehicle. You might want to look into it. Like, I know it's like a cam positioning sensor. There's a couple sensors that will actually disable the vehicle, and you could just buy them and have extras. But then, like,
Okay.
a lot of sensors don't really completely like shut the car off. Like, they're just something that's like ancillary.
Yeah.
But they're
Just
still
kind
like,
of
if
a
you try a
nuisance.
computer, you're screwed.
Yeah.
Hey,
So,
Devin, you guys getting ready for the Super Bowl?
Oh yeah, dude, I can't wait.
What
I
a
can
joy.
hardly contain my excitement. we just had to suffer through Formula One, and now pucker up and get ready for Super Bowl too.
Hmm.
I mean,
yeah, Formula One
granted,
was pretty bad. It was not a very good experience, I
Yeah,
heard,
Yeah.
by
Yeah,
anyone
it-
involved. Like the people who were racing, the race spectators, like it was all pretty bad.
yeah, it was not a good spectacle to suffer through. You know.
And the cars kept
Like,
flipping the manholes off off of the fucking.
Yeah.
road. It's like that's the first thing you do is weld those things down. Like that's crazy.
I know it wasn't a very good example of our infrastructure here. Not exactly world class compared to what those racers are used to being on. You know.
Well,
I heard
why
they-
do
they
it in the
have
middle of
some,
the fucking city? Like that's wild.
I always thought they should have it loop through some of the desert a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah,
Hmm.
Yeah, all this flat land around. And
Yeah.
what you do.
Yeah, like all this space. to
And
do
they
that.
decided to shove it into 9 to 5 traffic area.
Nice.
Isn't
And
though
just
the football
displace a lot of
stadium there? The
Yeah,
football
I'm about
field there
to
has
drive by it
retractable
right now,
grass,
actually.
doesn't it? In order to have natural grass instead of turf, they have this retractable field. It takes it completely out of like the stadium to a nearby area that has sunlight.
What?
They
That's
roll
kinda
roll the field out.
yeah. To get it
Whoa.
light,
Yeah, to grow the natural grass.
and then they just roll it back in.
I'm pretty sure that's the first time a American football field has used such a thing.
That's crazy.
Well, if I could flip the camera around, I could show you the Allegiant Stadium because I'm about to pass by it right now.
Is that the Raiders or whatever?
Yeah, they got a big banner on it. Super Bowl, whatever.
Oh shit!
What is it? LB
80 million.
111. Yeah.
80 gorillion. Super Bowl 2 gorillion.
2 gorillion.
Gorillion.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sponsored by the U.S. Army.
Yikes.
There's never been a more statist, carnist, just tuned out of reality spectacle.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
When you
It's
watch
funny,
football
like
with
so many
commercials,
truthers
you
that
know?
still get all sucked up into like basketball and football, and I'm like, just like, what are you doing? That's wild.
After everything
They
that's
get so
happened.
defensive about it.
Shit.
What's wrong, Bob?
I watch quite a bit of tennis, and it's interesting when
Tennyson?
I love Tennyson. I'm a poet and poetry lover. I'll send you some of my recordings reading Tennyson. But the Lotus Eaters, I'm great at reading it. It helps put myself and others to sleep, as it should. But speaking of tennis, not Tennyson, it's interesting when I've been watching a lot of tennis and all the advertisements are for rich people stuff, you know.
Yeah.
they're all for like Lexus and BMW and Rolex, and
That's like Formula One's like that. Road
Yeah.
cycling is kind of like that.
in like vacation spots in you know, in Bermuda or whatever. And then you watch the NFL and all the commercials are for fast food and beer. It's all like triple cheese, pepperoni.
Yeah, they know their audience.
It's funny.
Get 4 for the normal price of 2. Oh God! Order right to your door.
Because half the ingredients are subsidized by the taxpayer.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nice.
Made in America.
Yeah.
That's funny. Shit. Yeah, road cycling is kind of like that, except we got Bahrain victorious and Israel startup nation as companies. So like if you have enough money, you could just like sponsor a team, and it's like the scummiest like countries sponsor teams trying to get their name out there any way possible. We saw some funny shit today. We were driving through Malibu, which is very heavy in Israelis. And there was a sign. It's so funny. I wish
I saw that.
Did you see it?
It's gonna be
What was it? Something about a mitzvah?
Do a mitzvah from Israel, and it's like it shows this bro just like
Do a
crying.
mitzvah.
How did Ali has to do it? She does the accent the best because she's kind of Jewish.
Oh my!
Do it exactly how you did it when you
Sound
saw
like
the
Fran
sign
Drescher.
first.
I screamed, "Oh my god!" And I said, "Do a mitzvah for Israel." But it was, yeah, I don't know what a mitzvah is.
I don't know what that is.
It's like,
You don't know what a mitzvah means?
no, you
You
need to
guys don't?
explain
It
those.
just means like a good turn. It means just like you do a solid.
Do a solid.
Yeah. Do somebody good.
Oh,
do
a
a good
mitzvah's
turn for
like
somebody.
just like a celebrate, like
it's a good act.
just
It's like a small good act.
Like a pay it forward for.
like a bat mitzvah is
Israel.
just like a rite of passage into manhood party for a boy.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Like
not that big of a deal.
I think it has some kind of like a literal meaning that's in the bar mitzvah, bat mitzvah. I mean, it means like a commandment. I'm just looking it up now, and then like if you just say like somebody did a mitzvah or that was a mitzvah, it means it was just like a good deed.
Oh, we got one better on the strip by the Sahara. There's a big billboard, like a digital screen, and it shows a bunch of pictures of what are supposedly people that were captured by Hamas.
Oh
And it
my
says
God.
like hearts broken, family shattered, or something like that.
Yeah, we have signs like that everywhere.
All
But it's like
over in
light,
LA.
every light pole in every corner, and it's like pasted on the pole, and it's like
Hebrew.
people like missing, and it looks like, oh, like a local missing person, and you look and it's like kidnapped in Israel, and it's just like
By
faces
Hamas.
of like old people,
propaganda.
kids and stuff. But they're like the really sticky backed, annoying ones. So people try and rip it off, but it only like peels off a little bit, and it's just like stuck
They
on.
really
real
thought about
good.
it. They
I've
really
seen
thought
people
about it.
getting into fights over trying to peel it off.
Yeah.
Oh really?
Yeah, you seen those ones in New York City that people get all hyphy because they're trying to peel the
Oh
things off.
shit!
Yeah.
Yeah,
I get all
it's bait. They're sitting around the corner waiting.
yeah. It's like those like you like tape $1 to the floor and you like try and pick it up and they just can't.
Yeah.
they can't
You gotta take a side, guys. You gotta take a fucking
You gotta
side.
pick a side. Yeah.
You're living in a world where 99% of people are either Bears fans or Packers fans.
Yeah,
And you can't say I don't care that much about football.
People get
Or
so
you can't
mad.
say
Because
that
if you do,
football
then
is
the Bears
rigged.
fans, if you say that I don't care that
Yeah.
much about football and I don't have a team, then the Bears fans will beat you up for being a hidden Packers fan and vice versa. That's what this bullshit culture war is doing with the situation
I
in
mean,
Israel.
as much as we make fun of NFL football fans, we got to remember how rowdy soccer fans get.
Yeah, they kill each other and shit.
They come out with machetes and shit.
Yeah. I don't know what to say.
They just
I
get
mean, I'm
drunk
sure
and beat each other up in the parking lot here.
if you go to like
What else is there to do when you live in a freaking open air prison? You know. Like I said, told Chris Hines, he's the only person who could get me to go to the UK. Well, if I go there, you have to entertain me the whole time, or else I'm leaving immediately because I don't want to go there. But I mean, all this vegan food, it sounds pretty interesting though. Now I didn't know there was that much vegan food. Holy shit!
I'll go there in midsummer, man, because I cannot stand the short daylight.
Oh yeah, you get affected by that quite a bit.
I just want to. I mean, they're getting longer now in the northern hemisphere. That's great, but I got to figure out how to arrange my life to be in South Korea for 6 months and in like New Zealand for 6 months, or southern Chile or something like that.
I was waiting for that.
I just got to have it be like longish days for my entire life.
Come to California.
Well, yeah, I mean, I am in California. I'm in a different California, not only further north, but also also in the mountains with tall trees, so the sun kind of like
Hides
gets
for
over the
the last
trees.
2 hours.
Yeah, it hides behind the trees.
Yep, we got some sun today. Oh,
Yeah, it has been pretty mild, that El Nino season, right?
yeah.
Yeah, when is Groundhog Day? Are we supposed to find out how?
Pretty soon.
You guys are.
I should watch the movie.
Hey,
It's been a
let's
few
talk
years.
about
A week from today.
how veganism relates to Groundhog Day.
The movie,
How does it? Do that deep
or
dive.
the phenomenon of
always-
using a groundhog.
Yeah, I always make a post about this. You know, this subterranean rodent doesn't give a shit about your superstitious holidays and how it has nothing to do with predicting the fucking weather.
It's just trying to take a nap.
Yeah, he's taking a nap. He's in his burrow. He's probably hibernating, and they just yank him out, and he's like in front of a crowd of people. So
Yeah.
fucked up.
Oh God, Lubass is here.
That's definitely a way to make yourself more likable as a vegan. Get into arguments with all of your non-vegan friends about how Groundhog Day is
Groundhog
not
Day.
a vegan holiday. The ethic
Yeah.
of Groundhog
Not only getting mad at the people who keep the groundhog in Pennsylvania, but getting mad at like anybody who mentions Groundhog Day.
Yeah,
Anybody
yeah.
who likes Groundhog Day.
You're oppressing the groundhog even speaking about it, really.
Yeah.
Even if it's on your calendar. If you buy a calendar that has Groundhog Day
Restaurant.
printed on it, that's non-vegan.
That's not vegan. I'm a huge fan of rodents, man. I'm their advocate. So
You know the movie, right, Devin?
yeah, with
It's
Bill
one of the
Murray.
greatest movies of
Greatest
all time,
movie.
right?
Yeah.
But Bill Murray actually, filmed that scene with a real groundhog
yeah.
when he kidnaps the groundhog and he's riding with the groundhog up on the steering wheel. I heard an interview where he said like the groundhog bit him several times, and
Yeah,
it's like
good.
no shit. And that was the trained one. That was the one that they thought they could. It was tame enough to use in a movie, and it still bit him several times.
They're also known as woodchucks.
Woodchuck.
Wait, a woodchuck
Yeah.
and that's the same animal?
It's the same animal, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
They're related to prairie dogs.
And beavers
Ah,
too, aren't
okay.
they?
And yeah, closely related to beavers and nutria, that kind of thing.
Nutria are weird. They
Yeah.
they're invasive and they the
Yeah,
government
you guys got a lot of
people
them
eat
in California.
Do we?
Invasive species. Yeah, you guys have them, I think, in central or northern. They're supposed to be invasive species.
It's where all the pigs are too. All the
Yeah.
wild boar.
Hey, but I just got home, so I do have to dip.
All right, dude.
Talking
We're
with
probably
you.
gonna
I'll
wrap it
probably
up
be in
early
the
tonight
chat
anyway.
All right.
All right, man.
later.
Catch you later. It's just
Isn't
you
that
now, Corey.
movie? Oh no, it's earlier 90s than 94, right? I was thinking,
What?
is it gonna be 30 years old? It's more than 30 years old. It's like
Who,
92. No, the movie Groundhog Day. I think it's something like 92.
It's got to be 30. It's 25,
That was what? Mid-90s?
96 or something, 95,
If I remember correctly.
I think it's earlier than 94.
93. Yeah, like
Cool.
post 80s.
Groundhog Day film.
Yeah.
Boom.
Did you see Lost in Translation?
It's from 93. Okay.
Damn. Yeah. That
31
was,
years old this year.
dang. We were
Yeah,
right.
Lost in Translation. Pretty
It's
good.
a good movie. Bill Murray's. What was that? What's the fucking movie he's really good in with the young kid, the little smart kid? It was in the kid looks like Max Fine, my friend Max Fine. That he was in that movie Tweak. No, not Tweak. Spun. Remember we watched that?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I don't remember. Sorry.
He's in a band. He's in that band. Never mind. Yeah, Bill Murray's funny. But we had a late night last night. I think we're going to
Sounds
wrap
good.
things up early tonight.
I gotta play, like I was telling you in the chat.
You gonna go back
I gotta
some
play
video
D&D online with with a group in Korea. That we'd been doing it about once a month, but it's gone a little bit longer than that this time.
Does that help you keep your language skills?
There, no, it's not in Korean. No, only
Oh.
one of them is Korean. The others are all foreign teachers. From
Gringos?
England and South Africa and
Pinche
Canada.
Gringos.
So yeah, we're playing in English, but their afternoon, whenever they can get their shit together, they always say noon. Let's get together at noon, which is 7 our time, but they're never ready until it's like 8:30 here, and then I end up playing into the wee hours. So I'm gonna go like get whatever else done before that gets going. So it's perfect for me too. It's kind of shorter session, man. I'm sorry that I'm not on the cam.
You don't see that.
I'm in a small hometown in the mountains. I next time I go down shopping down the hill, I'm gonna pick up a webcam.
Yeah, that might help.
Or I can order one online,
Yeah, Amazon's a shit,
Look
man.
that up right now.
Cheap stuff.
All right, dude.
All
Catch
right.
you next week. Just catch you in the comments on Facebook.
Oh yeah. You guys have a good night.
Later, dude.
You too.
Ciao.